Hello, I think we're live, hopefully. So when you can see this in the chat, say hello. We'll jump straight in a few minutes. Give everyone a few minutes to jump in. Happy Friday. I am looking forward to next month where I can finally get a haircut again. I think my hair is getting so crazy long at the second, but so overdue. Let me turn down the music. Probably don't need music. I definitely don't need music for this. Let's lower it down even. Just a little bit. How is everybody today? Anyone have some fun plans for the weekend? Any ideas? Let me pull up the LinkedIn chats. Hello. I am good. Thanks for jumping in. Great to see you here again. Now, take me a few minutes to warm up. We'll get there. So let's have a look. All right. If anyone has any questions for me in the chat, make sure you ask them. Don't be shy. You know right well, I'll basically answer anything. I don't really mind. I'm gonna make sure everyone has the links to this stream. And we will be good. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, let me just throw this in too. I'm just throwing in a link to my Discord, everyone, so I know it's a bit boring for a second. We'll get there, I'll get focused. It's been a long week, and I see some great comments coming in already. So yeah, we'll definitely get into all this. Now, let's jump in. I have some set questions I have to get through, but I'm going to just kind of split it up, take some of the questions from the chat, and then start taking some questions I had previously as well. I have a list of them on the video, or some of them anyway. I had a good few decent questions come up lately, or at least things I get asked very frequently. So I thought I'd make a video and see how it would work. So this is great. So good afternoon. I am skipping comments and things because I want to throw up the comments on the screen. Eamon's coming in from LinkedIn. Cheers, Eamon. All is good here. What about you? I hope there's some good plans for the weekend. I'm going to go on to number 2 now. So, cheers. We just had a quiz in work. So, I started having a beer about a whole hour ago, I guess. So, I'm doing it slowly today. All right, let's jump into this. Oh, I didn't even see it. Amir had a question up here. I am doing great. So, let's take a look. What is the first question up on the list? How old am I? Well, I will answer that in a little while, because if people don't know, I would like for them to guess, because I don't know whether I am aging terribly or whether I am aging well. So please throw it in the chat. I would love to just see the wild guesses. What is my job? Oh, interesting. So my job is I am the CTO in a business called Spark here in Dublin. So we do a couple of things. We deliver software solutions to startups and enterprise customers, and we also are building our own internal products as well. So my job as a CTO is actually not that much web development day to day. It's more so on the strategy for the business and looking at the big picture stuff and making sure that we hire awesome people to make sure that our products are really good. So most of my job, or 90% of my job, is based around strategy and hiring. And then when I can, I get into code reviews and look at things and study to see what's coming up and trending in the market as well. So it's a fun job, in fairness. Let's see. Oh man, there is loads of questions already coming in. This is great. What is my favorite programming language? Excellent. Well, if you've watched any of my streams before or anything else, you'll know I'm a JavaScript fanboy. There's no denying it. I am agnostic in which I think is the best, or if that's a thing. I think there is so many awesome tools out there, but JavaScript has been the tool that has brought me most of my success. So as a result, I have a special place in my heart for it. I started out on PHP. In fact, actually, when I first ever seen programming, I started out on Visual Basic way back when. And then I did some PHP because I thought I wanted to be a web designer. So I thought it'd be interesting to know that for doing some WordPress-y style stuff. But then I looked up the job market and I seen JavaScript was paying tons. So I just went and learned JavaScript. And it was a good move for my career because it's paid me much better than I would have gotten paid. Somebody from Kenya. Excellent. Hello. Awesome accent you have there. Sounds British, but extra. Where are you from? Watching from Kenya. So I am in Dublin, Ireland at the moment. I am from a county called Meath in Ireland, but I moved during COVID into the city centre, which is the opposite for most people during COVID. But I just wanted to be at least in places that I could walk out and get some good food and just try be somewhat human during all this. And I also wanted to get a bigger space so I'd have more space for just doing things like this. So yeah, Dublin, Ireland. Ranuga, you have so many questions in here. I might come back to them if we run out in a while, but I want to try and get to everyone else's as well. Does my beard have a name? No, I should probably put a bidding war out and let people bid for naming my beard, and then I can just like, I'll put a little tie on it with a name. We'll see how it goes. Yes, Paul, I was only 5 minutes late today, so that means I was basically on time. So yeah, excellent. Hello, how's things? Welcome. Nice. Great to see you, Damon. Oh. So for people doing a week, what they've done this week, went to Wicklow Mountains the other day and got the window smashed. Oh, so painful. I think it was about 2.5 years ago now that I got a company laptop stolen on me from my car. So I got a brand new car, and that was the horrible part. It was a new car, it was in a private car park, and my laptop and window smashed. Oh, so painful to get all those things fixed. All right, so we have some. This is awful. These are some guesses for my age, which I don't know whether to be offended by or just my wisdom. Do I behave as wise as some of these ages? So first up, Victor is saying 28. Nice. Okay, so 30-ish. That's a very vague one. 42 is close, Jay. You're close. 34-ish. Tej, you know I'm legal. It's okay. Min 30, max 40. Okay, okay. You also act younger than me too, Paul, so I don't know. I do not know. Nice. Okay, we're getting further away. We're getting further away from my age here. 38. So I am 29. I am in fact going 30 in August. So who knows? I'll probably be having my 30th in lockdown, more than likely. So yeah, it's I guess I'm younger than lots of people expected. So I guess I'm aging terribly. Success. That means I'm working hard enough. So that is true. I love this. I'm not going to answer this because I don't think I should reveal on the internet too many deep personal details, but it's not August the 19th. It's definitely not August the 19th. Or is it? And my credit card details are... All right, let's see. I had a question up here. As Praveen had, when are you hiring me? Praveen, that's a good question. You know, I should probably put you through a technical ringer. You know, see if you got the stuff. You know, it's not like I don't see you doing great stuff in the Discord. I should probably just hire you for the Discord at this stage. I think everyone's slagging me that the Discord is Praveen's Discord and I just rent it from you. Tough paper round. Yeah, again, just all the security questions. I should just list them out. I remember recently somebody was asking those kind of questions, and it was only somebody that does security. Somebody that did security just saying to me, you know, you probably shouldn't be answering those questions on the internet since they're basically your identity holders. And I was like, oh yeah, I better stop telling people these things so openly, especially when strangers call me on the phone. Yeah, it is true. At this stage, Praveen, it definitely is true. And honestly, Jay, I will fight you for him at this stage. Or we'll have to start a bidding war on him. He keeps things intact. Look at this. Excellent. Yeah, we will. In fact, I think we'll bring Praveen. We might get all of us on. Anyone that's in the Kodu community Discord. I might do next week. I'm going to try and plan a stream where I'll invite in any of the members as well if they want to jump on and have a chat with me as well as something a little bit different. So yeah, absolutely. Praveen can probably lead that one. I think that's probably the easiest way. So I haven't even asked Praveen, will he? I'm just going to say Praveen can come on and lead the stream. All right, back to the questions. Do I like using TypeScript? I rarely use TypeScript, but because I am doing more and more backend development recently and learning a lot more about kind of infrastructure and Kubernetes and building scalable systems, I'm actually really enjoying TypeScript. And anyone that knows me would know I'm a huge purist. I would have always said just JavaScript, but it's definitely something that's super useful when you're starting to make sure your application is developed and built without bugs. So yeah, I can see its value now more than ever. I think for a lot of applications, you might get away with it. But especially when you're working in big teams, having that type check is pretty awesome. There you go. I'm amazed by the response. I didn't know I have such value. Yeah, look, if you're a helpful person, people notice. That's the truth with these things. I'm a big advocate for making sure you foster and give value to everyone. Especially, you should always be giving more value than you ever take, I think, especially when you're building a community as well. And friends, nobody's a friend that just always asks for favors or does things. So that's why we'd all count you as a friend as well, Praveen, at this stage. Timeshare of Praveen. We get 10 hours a day out of him, as I don't think he even sleeps. Excellent. No problem. Absolutely no problem. Which one of us is fostering him? Okay, let me check my notes here, because I have some notes. I should have probably brought this up before the stream, but I definitely have some notes here on some questions that I was meant to answer. I can start with the ones in the YouTube video, can't I? Let's have a quick look. Jump into the content. All right. Some questions here that I have to answer. Did I not? Oh, I put it on LinkedIn. I put the questions on LinkedIn. So, I definitely should have had this up already. Okay, all right, I'm going to use this screen over here. Boom, boom, boom. Profile. Sweet. Okay, so let's right, before I jump in, because I do have a question from Mr. Alberts here that I'm going to answer as well. As far from upcoming technologies are concerned, what are your thoughts on Rust and WebAssembly? So I have not dived too far or too deeply into WebAssembly. I see it and it's coming. And I definitely see the value of tools like Rust making a better user experience and an alternative to using something like C++. Things at that system level are not going to go away because we need optimizations. We need that kind of hardware focus. So when we're talking about performance and things, it's great to see things like Rust pop up. I am still, and this just goes to me being a little bit old school and things, I was trying to decide if I'd learn Rust or C++ recently, and I've decided that this year I'm going to go and learn C++. And the reason is it's tried and tested and stable, and I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. So for me, although there's new things and new bits coming, I'm definitely going to go more so on the C++. And the other reason is, since Node is written in C++, I can also then leverage that to write some cool Node plugins as well. So it's kind of like doubling down on what I know. Let's see, what other questions? Right, tips for standing out in an interview. I did this. I got asked this in the Code Institute talk I did recently, and I get asked it all the time for basically because I've often, when I was a little bit earlier in my career, I was always getting jobs that were above me, and I was always shocked as well, but I didn't realize I was doing things a little bit differently than other people. So one of my biggest tips for standing out in an interview is to, one of my biggest tips for the interview is to have an actual physical portfolio with you for the interview. So you go in with your CV usually, I always bring a letter binder with printouts of all the architecture and screenshots of applications I've built so that I can talk people through it. So I've often gone into interviews and things and just dumped all the paperwork onto the desk, and it gives somebody something they can pick up and read and look through and flick and ask questions. So often then the interview becomes me talking about things I've done instead of an interview where they're asking me loads of random questions and trying to poke holes in my knowledge. So I found by giving them some cool things that I've done in a physical form, because you can't really take out an iPad and show them it. It's just not natural. But you're already handing a CV, so you can also hand in a bit of paperwork with other things there as well. So if you're in interviews, that's how I stood out. Just bring a physical portfolio with you as well. Nice. Okay, there's a question in the chat here as well that I'm going to look at. Did you consider Go? If so, any reason you didn't think of picking it up? Yes, absolutely. So my decisions on the languages I pick are based on the markets around me. So I don't see a huge Go developer community here in Dublin, in Ireland. So because the community isn't active here, I decided it might not be valuable for me to learn, because I probably won't hire for that skill set because it's not big enough yet. I'm not in the mindset that I don't like hiring niche developers, because it's hard to find them and it's hard to keep them, because they're obviously looking for really cool things all the time. It's so for me, the only reason I didn't pick Go was just the market around me in Dublin doesn't have the vacancies or the people around it yet. And I could be wrong. I haven't searched about it in over a year, so I might need to recheck that up soon and see if it's starting to bounce up. Crystal Lang also looks interesting. I have not even heard of Crystal Lang, so I'm definitely going to check that out after this stream for sure. Let me see. I'm reading questions here. Why are you hurt, Jay? What? Who hurt you? Let's find him. Was it Praveen? Praveen's off next week's stream then. If he's hurt you, it's okay. Nice. Yeah, and you have to remember, because I work a lot in the business side of technology, I really do have to think about who am I able to get. And if I'm going to learn tech, it's definitely going to be a case of learn so I can ask people questions about it as well. Oh, yes. Aaron. Yes, I have tried it. Again, I experimented with that a good while ago now, so it's probably changed a lot since I've even used it, but it's very cool. It's something I want to dive into a little bit more when I get some time, but it's definitely something that's awesome. I think there should be more people using Svelte, if I'm honest. Yeah, love it. I don't think I'm going to go further than that. Jay will always get the love. That's always important. Let's see. Is a computer science degree important for a developer? It depends, I guess. It definitely doesn't hurt. You learn a lot of stuff in colleges and universities that you don't learn usually in online formats. So usually in boot camps and the online courses, you don't dive into the science or the fundamentals or how these things look and work at a really granular level. And those granular understandings can really help you adapt to nearly any programming language. So I was in a computer science degree when I was 18 and I dropped out, and I didn't chase my career till much later. And I think it's one of the questions later about when did I fall into development, so I'll wait for that one. But what I didn't realize it taught me until I was talking to other self-taught developers was I actually did know some of the fundamentals and had remembered them because of just that 1.5 terms of college that I did, where a lot of the people that I was talking to that hadn't done that didn't get that exposure. So I definitely see the value in it. Is it important? It depends on your area, and it depends what businesses you're looking for. So some businesses still just require a degree just to get through HR. Other businesses are happy enough just seeing a portfolio. So it's really just depends on the tactic you're taking. Ah, the data slut himself is here, Alan Coyne. For anyone that doesn't know Alan, you should check him out on Twitter if you like data and you like nonsense, because that's what he's posting. You know, who likes data anyway? We'll definitely have to get Alan on for a stream sometime soon for try to teaching me some of the data science, or even some weird algorithms or maths that I'm terrible at. So yeah, let's get you onto this soon, Alan. Paul, if it was in college, it doesn't count. So that's fair. What backend tech do I use? So am I more on the DevOps side? So I'm learning a lot more the DevOps side at the moment because it's something that was a complete vacancy to me until very recently. So right now I'm trying to fill in my gaps with Kubernetes and scaling systems. And yeah, so what technologies am I using now? I am using Node.js, Express.js, and it's been great for years for me, really. So yeah, definitely less on the DevOps side, more on the programming side, I guess. But I definitely am a JavaScript through and through. So full stack JavaScript is my jam, really. And yeah, I'm definitely trying to figure out this DevOps stuff. So AWS and Kubernetes are the two things that I'm struggling with at the moment. I can do things manually in AWS, but I'm trying to learn infrastructure as code as well. So we'll see how that goes. Call back to me in a few months. I might just hate it completely from struggling to learn it for so long. Paul, I use none of the stuff I learned in college in my day-to-day dev role. Yeah, it's interesting. That's the other difficult part about some courses, and how quickly they update. Often these courses go out of date if a college isn't staying up to date with some of the stuff that's on there. So I've seen most college courses still teach things like AngularJS, which, although it's a really cool framework and I loved it, it's not used in too many places anymore. It is legacy code bases. You are welcome. Gareth is saying, from my experience as a hiring manager and dealing with HR companies, having a degree is a strong requirement. Interesting. Yeah. So I went and I got my degree. I got a degree online, or a postgraduate, after I had already gotten a job, because I was worried that I wouldn't be able to get other jobs without a degree. So I definitely think, like, if you can get a degree, it's definitely not going to hurt. It's only going to open more doors, but it doesn't mean you're going to be stopped from doing things from having a degree either. Well, you'll be stopped at certain places, I guess, but you won't be stopped completely. Paul did a computer science degree. Interesting. What were they teaching in there, Paul? What was the stack that you learned when you were in college? Just interesting. Good question. There's one for Garrett in the chat. Does the degree in computer science, does it need to be a degree in computer science though? It's usually a related degree or something along that. That is so fancily abbreviated for me that I don't even know what that stack is. I've learned so much from the Codu chat, YouTube, Code Academy, GitHub, practice, Code Wars, etc. Yeah, like nothing beats real practice, or like it just, there's no substitute. If a question, and I might as well jump into this because this is kind of a small lead on to it. Actually, just to point out, yeah, golf studies degree is usually perfectly fine for for jumping into those tech jobs. So one of the questions that I've been asked is like tips to advance your career, and my biggest tip always is to make sure that you're in a job that's making you uncomfortable, and once that job is making you uncomfortable in the right way, I mean from difficulty standpoint, that you are going to be solving problems and getting better all the time. So you either get into a job where you're solving lots of different problems all the time. So for me, when I was early in my career, I was in like an agency and I worked on 4 or 5 huge global projects in less than a year. And that exposure to all these different projects, and rather than just one big one that I was just tending to, gave me much more experience than most people would in a few years. So if you can get into a job where you have to adapt fast, it can definitely help you go further in your career as well. So if you're trying to get into development or anything else, there is no substitute for actually just reading the docs and practicing and building stuff. Aha, yes, Praveen. I was talking more so, I guess some computer science degrees specialize in software development or have another specialty, and often then they might have a stack attached to them. And I mean, that might be just a couple classes, but usually a lot of them can be. Nice. Okay, cool. Well, I guess that's useful, even if it doesn't feel it yet, Paul. I guarantee you'll see other people who haven't gone through that, and you'll just have assumptions that they won't. Would experience in a particular language count as general coding experience or only experience for that language? That's interesting. So I know in the likes of Facebook, their tests are done in a language of your choice. And so a lot of places might be, especially in the earlier days, a language of your choice, because you will have to learn something on the job anyway. So it really depends on the place. But usually, and in most cases, 90% of the cases, you are going to have experience in the language that you're going to be going and applying jobs for, because it's a risk if somebody takes you and you don't have any experience whatsoever. Great advice from Jay. Yeah, try to surround yourself with people that are better than you. Look for the best opportunities to grow as a person and in your role. So this is exactly why we even have the Codu community and all of these things, is because often people are in jobs where they don't feel like they're challenged all the time. And that's why it's nice to build a community where there's lots of different people working together to better themselves, and just everyone rises with the attitude of, you know, or when you're surrounded by smart people. It's impossible. Like, if you were playing basketball with NBA players all the time, you're bound to get really good at basketball. And that's just because you're going to learn things off them that you never thought of or didn't think were possible. I like this one. Although I have a BSc and Masters officially, I honestly wouldn't know data structure and algorithm questions even look like. Yeah, they're horrible. I know my partner, she's just applied to some things, and she's like, oh, you can help me look at some of these things. And I'm like, if they're data structures and algorithms, I might not be able to help you, because they just involve study, and it's preparation. It's a memory game, really. And in case unless you're using a lot of these algorithms every day, how could you? That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Paul, you were in the National College of Ireland as well. I guess you just didn't pay attention if you didn't know there was a stack. I hope so. Yes. So I always look to Kevin Hart as my inspiration for small people playing basketball against really tall people, because I've seen him do it. And he does look ridiculous, yes, but he still does it okay. He's not afraid to lose, I guess. All right. Any other questions in the chat other than my problems with my height and trying to play NBA? Because I'm 5'6", so I'm small. So it's definitely going to be difficult for me to play NBA. What do we have? What strengths are most important for a developer? So for me, I would pick two answers here. Two things I would really hit on. And that is, number one, persistence. Because I think a lot of people feel like you just have to get it. And for me, I know early on, I wasn't one of those people that just got it. But I knew I needed to learn it. So I just consistently put in the effort to learn it every single day. Even though I had those days that I was like, this job isn't for me, I hate it, it's the worst. Once you're persistent and keep on doing this thing every day, it's impossible that you don't improve. So you just have to be persistent. You'll grow at different paces. You'll see people grow at different paces. You'll see people grow in different ways, and often you think they're better than you when really they're just growing in a different direction. So just be persistent in your effort every single day, really. And the second thing is, and I think this is something I advise people for not only software but business as well, you really have to have a natural thirst for knowledge, because if you don't want to learn things a lot, you're going to fall behind rather fast. So there's often we see rows often now about, like, you don't have to be passionate, and of course you don't, but you do have to love learning, because this is an industry that isn't slowing down. Although React has been around a lot longer than I expected, things aren't slowing down, and it's definitely useful if you like learning, because you're going to have to do it anyway. Let's see. I modified the lottery page in DevTools to make my own. Oh, that is so cruel. And I love doing that. That's hilarious. I'd recommend anyone getting into development to get comfortable with debugging. I think it's one of the better skills to have. Absolutely. And I think the only way to get good at debugging is to have real projects, because once you go away from tutorials, you're on your own. You have to learn to debug because nothing is perfect. And yeah, definitely going back to the most important traits for a developer, core strength. It helps you drink more beer, I think. That's true. Or get a better chair. I've got this stand-up desk. It's the only way. And I've just made it my mission that if I'm doing talks or meetings or anything else, I get up and stand, because my back was in ribbons, especially with lockdown, because I was sitting there and turning on my gaming computer and then turning on anything else. And I was sitting in that chair all day. Although it's a great chair. It doesn't hurt as much as what I've had. Posterior chain strength. Ah, Sid, welcome aboard. Yeah, so this is an interesting one. I know you're joking here. Strength to be a developer or be comfortable with alcoholism. This is a very interesting thing that I think a lot of businesses get wrong, especially those trendy businesses that all offer free beer and everything else, because it does exclude a lot of people. It's interesting now because say there's a lot of people that can't go out for beers on a Friday because they have family or anything, or for whatever reasons they don't drink. So I am a big fan of thinking if there's just a drinking culture, it's probably not a great culture, because it's not very inclusive then. But you know me, I do enjoy a beer as well. So I'm happy to have beers with people, but I'm also happy if they have a coffee while I have a beer. Who cares? Congrats for your channel. I would like to see more content like rebuilding my website series. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you. Not a question, but I'll take it. Cheers. How do I prepare for an interview with a company that is asking certain definitions and such when I am doing a coding bootcamp that focuses on practice and not exams? Tanja, do you have an example of what they're asking? Because to me, that's still too vague of a question. I don't know. Are you saying like what you're learning is way different? Because if you're just learning something that's way different, then maybe, look, the job isn't for you. And I know that's awful when you just want to get your first job or whatever else, but you're going to come across things that just aren't for you, and that's okay. Yeah, both. Yeah, exactly, Paul. Software engineer career, lifetime study to keep current. I did not realize until I started software development how much I actually liked reading and learning and everything else. Which is kind of funny because before development, I was selling fine wines and I was reading wine books all day just to know a little bit more about wines, or reading whiskey books to learn more about whiskeys and things. So it was in me. I did like learning, but I didn't realize I could channel it into a career that made me decent money. So yeah, it's definitely, if you're a curious person, it's definitely fun. You have a React interview on Monday. Anything you would suggest to prepare for? Yeah, so the cores of, actually, Jay, did you release your React thing yet? Is that out that you can share? If not, I'll continue anyway. Definitely the big ones are, make sure you can maybe understand when use effect would be useful and learning those lifecycle methods, because they are very useful. Like knowing those, how to use state and building forms with React. Look, most of the internet is building forms. So if it's a practical test, they'll probably have some sort of form to input or grab data. But if it's not, like, they'll definitely be using something like use effect and that to use some data fetching. So I definitely would take some time to relearn those. I do have a whole series on all of the React hooks, or most of them anyway, in my channel. So if you are interested in learning or refreshing on them, check out some of the old videos as well. I go over all of them with examples and practical examples as well. And I think there's some code links and everything as well. Yeah, so learning some fetch in case you can't import libraries or whatever else. But yeah, state management is everything in React. So if you're confident that you know use effect and use state and those core ones, maybe something like you use context might be nice to show how you manage global state. But that's an interesting one as well. Kenzie Dodds has some great content for a deep dive. Absolutely. But it is the weekend, so there's only going to be so much you can fit in. There is also a Brian Holtz React course on Frontend Masters. I didn't learn from his course, but I always watch them when they come out again, because I think he's really good at explaining React and its concept in a very practical, concise manner. So if you haven't, let me bring up that just so people know what course it is, in case somebody wants to learn. While we're stopping, is that nonsense still going on, Alan? It's not the same if we can't be in your house looking at it and giving out. But I guess Jake Paul probably. He's looking like a bit of a beast at the moment, in fairness. Where is this? I think there's a new version coming out, but let's share my screen. Share screen 2. So on Frontend Masters, you have the complete intro to React V5. I think there's a V6 up there now as well. So even if you got a month of Frontend Masters, that is how long course? 5 hours, 5.5 hours. Let's say 6 hours. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, just that's what I would be doing, is the 6 hours to just go through all of this. I think he makes everything in a very digestible, in fairness. I always recommend that to people who are learning. Ooh, excellent. Oh, I can't wait to hear about that later, Jay. I didn't realize there was a publisher involved with this, so I'm really excited to hear what's going on. Okay, yeah, I see this. Yeah, sorry, I did this first. Can you recommend any JavaScript course as well, please? Will Sentences JavaScript the hard parts is so good. Let me get that. JavaScript. So for anyone that hasn't seen it, put on screen 2 here again. Screen share. Screen 2. Share. This is an awesome course if you're preparing for interviews, because it goes into the fundamentals, like the core levels. Yeah, it goes into the core parts of like how JavaScript runs under hoods. Like if you've ever wondered like which would like how asynchronous events work under the hood in JavaScript and everything else, it's super cool and detailed. It's the only course I've ever seen out there that does it like JavaScript is computer science. So it's really well done. Yeah, Jay, you are one of the few people I know who just is absolutely just insane with how much you can just dig out of docs and get things going. And I think that comes from you are relentless with practice as well. And there is no substitute for practice. But I guess for some things like the core and the science level, if you haven't got the fundamentals like I spoke about earlier and you haven't done that computer science degree, sometimes you have to go a little bit deeper to get those fundamentals too. Westbow's JavaScript 30. I don't think. Let's have a look. Oh, this is his 30-day challenge. Yeah, this would be straight up J Street as well. It's just building stuff. There is what you should be doing if anyone's looking for things to do. JavaScript, Westboss, going in with the real deal and actual practical things. That's exactly what I'd like to be doing myself as well. All right, let's see. I have gone into tips to standing out in interviews, strengths most important for a developer. Oh yeah, this is one I get asked at home all the time, so I'd be murdered if I didn't ask it. Why am I so cute? So let me just, so people can see my tired face and answer this one. Why am I so cute? This is actually a question my partner asks me every day, and I just want to let her know it's because I crush up tablets in the morning and put it in her coffee. So that's the only reason she thinks I'm good looking at all. This next one is something I get asked a lot because I work a lot. And it's probably a suggestion more than a question. But work-life balance and why is it important? And I am not going to give advice on that because I'm terrible at defining a work-life balance. I work way too much. And I have been feeling the effects of burnout recently from juggling too much. So my big reason to try and form some sort of work-life balance is so that you don't burn out, because it's a difficult process to recover from. So definitely something to take into account. But yeah, if you're struggling with a work-life balance, try and get one. It's important. It's only work at the end of the day. It definitely shouldn't be your life. I think I have one more question on my list, and then I'll see if there's anything else in the chat, and we'll go from there. But the last question on this list is the proudest moment in my career. So for me, the proudest moment in my career was when I got my first software engineering job, and that was my title. I was a software engineer. Before I go into the story, I just like this. Where can you buy work-life balance from? I know. If anyone knows, please send it to me. Please send it to me. But yeah, so for the proudest moment of my career, definitely is a case of my first job. 2 weeks into that job, I was flown to Sydney, Australia to work on a project to fix commits between about 150 developers. So I accidentally got on that trip as well. So on my first couple of days, there was a meeting in the office and they asked, would anyone go to Australia to fix a problem? And me just not wanting to say no to something and feel like, oof, they'll think I don't know what I'm doing if I don't put my hand up. I said, yeah, I'll go, but I guess I'm too new, so I can't go. And they were like, no, you can go. So they flew me business class over to Sydney, and which was bizarre. Business class, gorgeous. There was a bar, an actual physical bar. I've never been on a plane since like it either. A bar that I could stand at and have a drink and talk to people. And I got to Sydney and went to the Optus campus where I was working, who are the biggest like internet provider there in Sydney and Australia. And I remember on the campus, they had loads of restaurants. And I just remember there's just this really clear moment that stands out in my mind where I was eating sushi in the sun with my laptop. And I just felt so good. And a couple of months, well, actually, a few weeks previous to that moment, I was earning $10 an hour and I didn't feel great about myself and where I was with life. So in just like a month, I was in a different continent, sitting there eating sushi in the sun, having a phenomenal time, getting paid while working. And yeah, for me, it was just like, I made it. And at that point, I was just like, yeah, I made it. So yeah, that was just that moment in the canteen that really just stands out for me. Interesting. Okay, we have. Oh, I have more questions in the chat. So, if anyone has any questions in the chat, I'm going to go through some questions in the chat until I don't have questions in the chat, I guess. So let's jump in. Which is a better framework, Bootstrap or Materialize? So, Ken, is Materialize the Google material? I haven't used it. So I used to use Bootstrap a lot. It's quite good, and Materialize as well. But I wouldn't be great at saying what's best now. I haven't kept up with Bootstrap and Materialize in the last few years. I've been handcrafting everything mostly, and then I have been a convert to Tailwind recently. So if I was to pick something that I'd use for CSS, it would be Tailwind. But it doesn't help you do things. It just gives you some consistency and efficiencies, I think, when you're working. Okay, cool. It is the one from Google. Yeah. Both of them are cool. Like, if you need to get things done, both of them are awesome. So really, it just takes a look at what you're trying to build and which one gets you there faster, really. That's what I would do. Like, the reasons I've used Material UI is for projects that look nearly like Material UI. So it's usually based on whatever designer gives me. Oh, excellent. Well, best of luck. Best of luck with it. Yes, I do. I'm constantly consulting with businesses and software and everything else. It's part of my job. Big time is to do a lot of consulting. So yeah, I've come from a consulting background. I had my own business before I switched over to what I'm doing now. So it's nearly ingrained in me at this stage to consult and help people as well. Now, Praveen, you know right well, donuts or waffles? This is a silly question. He's just saying this because I made both. And let me just search this because I'm so proud of my creation here. Profile, I'm just going to get this up. Where's my activity? See all activity. Come on. Maybe I can't find it. Okay, yeah, there we go. Let me hide who's talking to me just in case. So let me share. Yeah, so this is my crazy creation where I took some donuts, ran them through the waffle iron. Boom. Donut waffles. Unbelievable. It's the best thing ever. Then you add fried chicken for flavor. It's just like a garnish, just like a little lettuce that you add to something. Just some fried chicken on top of that. Beautiful. It's perfect. What else would you need? Literally nothing else. Yeah, so if you want healthy tips, follow me on LinkedIn. I do healthy food tips on LinkedIn clearly now. That's my new jam. So yeah. Did we? I can't remember. These weeks are flying for me. I'm so busy that I can't even remember what conversations I've had. Ah, my man, Kieran, what is the story? So Kieran went to school with me, so it's great to have him here as well. first off, if you want a private chat about this, I'll happily go into great length and give you some tips and advice. The big and the number one thing I think that developers forget to do is to start going to business meetups. And the reason you go to business meetups is because they're the people who will need your help. And usually technologists don't end up in business meetups. So you end up as the subject matter expert in these business meetups, so startup meetups, whatever else, and you can help people very quickly. So for me, the most success I've ever had freelancing was always being in these business communities, and then from there, being able to just help people. And then when you help people, the word goes around fast that, hey, that person knows their shit. You can go to them, they'll help you. And yeah, it's just about building a reputation then by building some nice things. Yeah, it was a really, really healthy, super healthy bit of cuisine. Maher, yeah, the best. Yeah, definitely reach out if you're considering going that route. Yeah, definitely happy to help. I cannot wait until things are back open. Our office at the moment is in Dogpatch Labs, so I'm hoping they'll give us some space for meetups when things go back to normal. So that'll be hopefully good as well. All right, I'm going to give it about 20 seconds. And if there's no more questions, I'm probably going to go and do stuff. I'm thinking of playing some games this evening and that. So if anyone hasn't joined the Discord, jump into the Discord. Let me get the link for the Discord in here. Discord. Because I'm going to play some games. I think I'm going to play some Valiant. That new Riot Games one, because Tejansh has got me on that. Either that or some Apex Legends. So if anyone wants to join in, please just jump into the Discord and we'll start messing. Edit invite link. No limit. Expires. Never. Generate new link. Copy. So if you're not in the Discord, jump in. It's got famous people in the industry like Praveen there. And the bear himself, Jay. Paul Topman. Everyone. Valorant. Okay, that's the name of it. At least Tej just tell me. But yeah. Tejan Shrana. Everyone is there. So if you haven't joined it, you're missing out. So there's the invite code there in case it doesn't show up. I see this coming in and it's impossible to tell. I love the way it's put this in. I guess this is a good one to finish up on. What do I think is the future of JavaScript? I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon, for sure. I don't see what's going to compete against it right now. But for sure, we don't know if it's going to be here forever. So all I would say is be flexible and learn the things and learn the fundamentals. So at least if there isn't a future in JavaScript, you'll be able to learn something else very quickly as well. But that being said, I am very optimistic that JavaScript is going to be around for a long time since it does so many different things and it's such a versatile language. But that's just me being an optimist. I could be totally wrong. So don't hedge your bets on the future because of me. Great, thank you. Yeah, enjoy it. And best of luck in the interview. Let us know how you get on in the Discord as well. So I'm going to leave it there. And until the next one, everyone. Gonna take a final sip of success. It's Friday. Have a good one, everyone. You're all awesome. Happy weekend. Bye.